evening, I'm Tyler Danberg. Ohio State owns the 2 seed in the college football playoff and will play either Miami or Texas A&M in its third straight Cotton Bowl on December 31st. Tonight, here Buckeye Roundtable on the Fan at 6. NBA Heat guard and Shaker Heights native Terry Rozier pleaded not guilty to charges on helping gamblers place bets on his performance in games. The 31-year-old was released on a $3 million bond secured by his home in Florida. NFL Browns rookie Shedeur Sanders will remain the starting quarterback the rest of the season, while center Ethan Posick will miss the remainder of the year after an Achilles tear. The Bengals waived wideout and former third-rounder Jermaine Burton today after 2 seasons. This update sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Get a holiday loan and choose loan amounts from $1,000 to $5,000. Visit bmifcu.org/holiday loan for details. Up next, Buckeye Roundtable right here on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Learfield. This is the Buckeye Roundtable Show presented by Burger King and brought to you statewide by the American Dairy Association Mideast and Cova Insurance, Window Nation, and by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers on the Ohio State Sports Network presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. Now, along with former OSU All-American Jim Lachey and the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels, here's your host, Skip Mossick.
And hi again, everybody. Welcome into our final Buckeye Roundtable show of the season. Ohio State falls to Indiana 13-10 in the Big Ten title game. Ohio State now the 2 seed in the CFP and is in the Cotton Bowl to face either Texas A&M or Miami on New Year's Eve. A couple of hours to get into a whole bunch of stuff college football-wise. Former OSU All-American, NFL All-Pro offensive lineman Jim Lachey. How are you?
I'm doing great, Skip.
Hall of Fame broadcaster, longtime voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
I've been passionately awaiting all day to talk college football with you, Skip.
Coach Ryan Day, we'll hear comments from him later this hour. Paul, let's start with you. It is amazing how critical people can be in this town following a loss. Going in, I was already impressed with Indiana. Their performance really, though, took me to another level on Saturday. Is the criticism of Ohio State warranted, or are people maybe still not giving Indiana their due?
I think there's some room for criticism, understandably, and most of it just because of plays that didn't work. But seeing Indiana in person, and like you, Skip, having had a chance to watch them a bunch, rewatch their Purdue game a couple, 3 times, very impressed with what you saw in person from what they were to do, especially on the defensive side, and especially the way they were able to create pressure on Ohio State.
Jim?
No, I agree. I think that's what I was impressed with. Offensively, you knew they could put up numbers, and Ohio State's defense held them to 13, which you should win a lot of games when you hold the opposing team to 13. But their defense was impressive. They stepped up and made plays. Obviously, their pass rush was there against the offensive line, who gave up 5 sacks in that game. They had pretty good coverage down the field for the most part, but the movement, the slanting, angling of the defensive front. Slant means we're going to angle to the field. Angle means you're going to go to the boundary, to the weak side of the field. So they just kept moving the fronts back and forth, and they got into gaps and got penetration once they got in those gaps and started making plays. So I was impressed with that and their linebacker play. I don't think Fisher made a whole lot of those great plays, but certainly Hardy stepped up, and Isaiah Jones from London, Ohio, I thought had a really good football game too. So impressed with the way Brian Haynes, their defensive coordinator, put together a package to slow down Ohio State's offensive attack.
You can't blame it on one thing, but what has Coach Cooper been telling us?
It's the first thing you thought about it.
Show after show after show about place kickers.
And, it was interesting because
win your game and lose your game.
When Radicic missed his, is like, okay, Ohio State's got things going. And, Jaden Fielding has been really very dependable all season long, but, that one that doesn't go the right way, and, it brought back memories of what happened against Georgia.
Jim, you were on kickers your whole year, all of your career. I mean, what are the good ones like after a tough miss?
No one's good after a tough miss.
Okay.
They all got to kind of sulk a little bit because they feel like they left the team down. Probably the best kicker. Well, I had 2 really good ones. Rolf Benirschke with the Chargers, who was a great kicker.
Game show host.
Exactly. And then
we had Wheel of Fortune?
Right. And then we had Chip Lohmiller, who played at Minnesota with the Washington Redskins. And Chip was just like one of the guys. He hung out and actually he's a chief fireman up there now, and the chief of the fire department up in Minnesota right now. So, I think he was a guy that was just, he's one of the guys. He kind of hung out, and he probably had a little bit more grace, but he had a heck of a year, our Super Bowl year. But, Yeah, I mean, that's no one wants to be the kicker, right? I mean, everybody wants to be a kicker during training camp, and when they get out of practice, after about a half hour and go in and dress up and go to the golf course. That's when you want to be a kicker, but not during game time when they have to put it through the uprights. That's not easy to do. So, yeah, you feel for them as. Offensive guy, you don't want to let it get to the kicker. Sure. You don't want the punter to punt, and you don't want the kicker to kick. You want to make sure, but when they do have to, you want to put it through the uprights. But, offensively, you got to do a better job of crossing the end zone line with the ball in your hand.
That was next. Red zone chances. Indiana 3 of 4. Ohio State 2 of 4. Safe to say, basically, that's the difference in the game.
It certainly is, and I think you can look too, Skip, at the third down numbers. And, that's something we've seen Ohio State be very good at. They were so good on fourth down coming into this football game, and they had the one that didn't go their way after the review. So there's a lot of those areas you can look at, but no, you're right, in the red zone, and that's been a concern all along.
Jim, we thought going into this game would be somewhat of a Heisman showdown between Julian Sand and Fernando Mendoza. Much like the regular season stats, Saturday was just as close. Both had 8 incompletions, both had a touchdown pass, both had an interception. And any, separation between the two after Saturday?
Not really.
Mendoza gets the win. That's it.
Not really. The one was probably the final pass he hit Charlie Becker.
And the other pass to Becker, too.
Yeah, right down the middle of the field when one Lorenzo Styles Jr. was covering and the last one Jermaine Matthews was covering, and he put those right on the ball, right on the money. And the touchdown he had to Elijah Surratt was the back shoulder throw, and he threw that a perfect too. And they were able to turn it on and make a play. So he had some very nice throws. And let's face it, we beat him up pretty good. Yep. Caden Curtin got him to the first play of the game.
Hello.
Hit him hard. Welcome to the Big Ten championship game. But credit him for coming back and making those plays. But it's hard to distinguish one from the other. The one has played, a little bit more football, a little bit more experience. Is an older player, with Mendoza, having some years underneath his belt, and Julian saying that was his first go-around.
Tonight's broadcast, as well as all of our Buckeye Roundtables throughout the season, are available on our flagship station's YouTube page. Simply search WBNS Radio on YouTube. You can watch it live or later if you miss any part of it. You can also download the Buckeye Roundtable podcast wherever you find your favorite podcasts, and be sure to subscribe to both. Buckeye fans, take your football game day to the next level with help from your neighborhood Giant Eagle. Stock up on your favorites from brands like Pringles, Cheez-It, and Coca-Cola, or choose from their delicious catering options. Giant Eagle is a proud sponsor of Ohio State athletics. The next game for the Buckeyes will be the Cotton Bowl on December 31st against either Texas A&M or Miami. We'll be on the air New Year's Eve with the AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show beginning at 6 p.m. Up next, our 60-second timeouts as the Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
More of Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Ohio State fans. Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State athletics. Tax extra.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State athletics. Go Bucks!
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes.
Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you.
Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
For over 37 years, Buckeye Nation has known Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse for serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks are a staple in Columbus, with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. And just like the Buckeyes, we strive for excellence and an experience like no other. Hyde Park is proud to introduce the newly added wine room at our downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining surrounds you, creating the ideal setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Always and forever your home of the Buckeyes. Home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you roll with Jim Lachey, Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Join partners American Electric Power, Donato's, Kroger, the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS TV in Columbus in supporting this cause at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Buckeyes Care.
Buckeye Roundtable, 60-second timeout.
Let's squeeze a few of these in here with you fellas. After playing what many said was their best game of the season against Michigan, Jim, Ohio State's O-line gave up 5 sacks to Indiana. What didn't that unit do as well against IU than they did against the team up north?
Well, number one was pass protection. I think that was very much, you could see that, everybody could see that, they weren't finishing their blocks. We saw a right tackle get beat a little bit, in a couple of those. I think he had maybe 2. Tegra had 1. James Peoples, he was involved in a blitz pickup and kind of got trucked a little bit and got run over, which is, again, it's tough to do against a linebacker, but you have to do it. You have to find a way to get it done. And it came at a bad time, right? This was a game that we needed to have great pass protection so our receivers could work deep against the secondary that, did some things. They mixed some things up back there. And, again, got to give those guys credit for finding a way to get it done. But for most of the year, these guys were awesome with their pass protection. And today, last night, or actually Saturday night.
It all seems like last night.
Yeah. We got home at 5:30 or 4:30 in the morning, so it does seem like it yesterday. But, they just couldn't quite get it done. And that's sliding your feet, using your hands, being physical, keeping guys in front of you. If there are line stunts, whether it's a end tackle game or a tackle end game, make sure you're passing them off on the same level. You don't want to get picked off. So, those are things that they all have to work on, those techniques, because, as we were talking a little bit, it's like a blueprint. Everybody's going to come up and say, this is what they have.
Slants and angles, we're going to see more of that.
They're going to come up and do similar things that, Indiana had success because that's what worked, and that's how they were able to get penetration. So, it's going to be magnified for these next couple games. Well, hopefully the next couple games, you got to just take one at a time. But the next game, you're going to see whoever, whether it's Miami or Texas A&M, doing similar things that Indiana did up front and try to take advantage of some of the weaknesses that they displayed in the Big Ten championship game.
All right, next, Paul. There's no correct answer, but just in your opinion, bigger play of the game, Sand getting stopped on 4th down in the red zone or the missed field goal?
Ooh, I would say getting stopped on 4th down because, getting even closer to the goal line, you like the chances of being increased of getting a touchdown there rather than taking the field goal. So probably because then what happens, does that change what you're going to do on that next series when you get down there?
Sure.
Do you go for it? Do you still kick? So I would say that stop on 4th down.
He made it. That's the thing. I mean, but obviously, under review, it was the right call. It was the correct call. Jim, what didn't they execute? Is he too low going in there as far as that quarterback sneak?
Yeah, and again, I think he just got stuffed a little bit initially. So when he was pushing, his pushing, his knee touched, and you can't do that. Question is, we used Lincoln Keenholz in a lot of those packages, and we thought that was going to be maybe a package that they were going to display, and they, for whatever reason, didn't want to bring him in to execute that quarterback sneak. I think they're going to look at that red zone package with 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends, 4 tight ends, and examine what they want to do, because when you have a bunch of big guys, you're just inviting everybody to the party, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's going to be lined up from tight end to tight end, stuffing every gap, so linebackers are tight. You don't have to worry about passes much as you would if you had a Jeremiah or a Carnell or a Brandon Ennis out there. So I think that's something they got to look at, whether they want to go, I wouldn't go empty, but, 5 wides, but you got to go maybe 3 receivers out there, 2 receivers, a back and a tight end, or 2 tight ends, and then kind of come up with a game plan to attack it. But it's not new. We've had some red zone issues all year long. We saw it throughout the course of the season that we weren't able to bang it in. We saw it against Michigan. It just didn't cost us.
All right, we'll get into this more with Adam Rittenberg next segment, guys. But the CFP bracket's now set. Ohio State and Indiana just flip-flop 1 and 2. The debate all day yesterday was, should Alabama have been in with 3 losses, and Notre Dame being left out, being jumped by Miami? Your thoughts on both of those?
Well, I think we all knew if there was ever going to be a team that would get in with 3 losses, it would be from the SEC. And the other part, no. Notre Dame should not have been in. They were playing some of the best football of anybody, but look, number one, look at who they were playing, and number 2, their 2 premier games, they lost.
And, Jim, the argument all day yesterday was, but they were ranked ahead of them last week.
And that's at fault.
That's exactly that. And that's the reason why I don't think anybody's debating that, is Miami more deserving? They won head-to-head, but that's the rub as far as what was this poll last week? It's garbage.
No, ESPN's, they're trying to make money with these shows, right?
Yes.
So they want to have a show for 6 weeks talking about, okay, who's where, who's what. Don't do that. Just have a final poll. Have these guys go into a room for, a week or a weekend or however long it takes to get this thing figured out. They all have something in their minds when they show up there, but don't try to, justify each
After
and every
the fact,
week.
it's like,
right. Just wait till, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter till you get to that final poll. I was surprised. I mean, I thought Notre Dame would have had a good shot just because I watched the 5 other polls or the 5 other, shows thinking, okay, they're there, they're 9, they're 10, they're there.
They're ahead of.
But all of a sudden that final show, you see it, and once Alabama got in, somebody was going to be out, and it was going to be, Alabama, or not Alabama, it was going to be Notre Dame was out, and Vanderbilt had a better record, BYU had a pretty good record. I think we can all live with that. But when Notre Dame only has 2 losses and doesn't make it, especially last year after they were runner-up in the national championship, and Ohio State got in last year with 2 losses at number 8. So I know each year it's a little bit different, but it was tough for Notre Dame not to make it.
Well, and it brings up the question of, do the conference championship games help or hurt?
It doesn't matter anymore.
Should you join a conference and be involved in one of those?
Well, true. Or have the possibility,
I just think these conference championships are going to go away, because look what it did for Ohio State, Indiana. It just switched 1 spot for each of them. It didn't really matter.
Real quick about the teams opting out, and specifically Notre Dame opting out. So, well, if we're not in, we're not playing anymore.
Well, God love Marcus Freeman, but this is taking opportunities for football players away from playing, and it's taking away the practices, which the coaches say is the biggest thing. Now, the coaches in the university, they've got to read their room and know what's going on with their players, and you're going to have players that are going to opt out that are pro candidates. But I think it's ridiculous.
I do too. Their last game was Stanford, right?
Yes.
So that's the last game Jeremiah, Love played, and he's a guy that was fighting for
might have been anyway
a Heisman and all those type of things, and he still might win it. I'm sure he'll be in the top 3 or 4 when it's all said and done. But to not have that ability to play anymore, I think it's a little bit. Again, it's their decision. I understand it. They're not in the conference. They can do what they choose. But
there are others. There was others besides Notre Dame, though.
There's 15 practices. Yeah. There's an opportunity for your fan base to go travel and watch those guys play one more time. And then as a player, and again, I think the players voted. That's what they said, that they didn't want to play in a bowl game. And I just think that's
where we are.
Yeah, that's instead of we've had players opt out for several years now. Now we're getting teams opted out. That's the new world we're in.
3 of the top 5 as far as the CFP are from the Big Ten. We'll discuss that and more with Adam Rittenberg of ESPN.com as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
You're listening to Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Ready? It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
The 2026 Buckeye Cruise for Cancer sets sail on the Silver Sea Silver Ray. It's an intimate ship with an even better experience. It's all-inclusive of beverages, shore excursions, taxes, and gratuities. Sail to bucket list ports like the Grand Turk, St. Martin, and St. Thomas. With Buckeye greats including Ryan Day, Bobby Carpenter, A.J. Hawk, the Boren Brothers, Ezekiel Elliott, Ryan Shazier, and more. Sailing from Fort Lauderdale, February 17th through the 24th. Call 614-792-6204 to book today.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State Team Shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
Picture it. Your holiday table, the family cooking together, the scent of golden brown bread, rosemary from roasted potatoes, and a salad so crisp it snaps, spiced cider in every glass, laughter around every plate. At Kroger, we know these moments matter, and we make it easier to bring them to life with quality that's affordable in every aisle. This season, don't just host, make every moment unforgettable. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everyone, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Buckeye fans, power up and carbon down with AEP Energy and Eco Advantage, their 100% renewable energy plan for your home or business. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
It's time for the Buckeye Roundtable Big Ten Breakdown.
Joined for a few minutes now by Adam Rittenberg, ESPN.com. And Adam, a couple of days removed now from the Big Ten championship game. Just your overall thoughts on Saturday's 1 versus 2 3-point game that kind of lived up to its billing, something that you don't always see in these type of matchups.
No doubt. I mean, for low-scoring games tend to have a connotation that, these aren't good teams or they didn't play particularly well. And while there were mistakes on both sides, I think you could look at that and say that there's a lot of high-level football being played at Lucas Oil Stadium, and a lot of individually talented players, some great units, 2 outstanding defenses. two talented quarterbacks, two really good receiving cores, and Indiana made a few more plays to get the win and secure that number one spot in the Rose Bowl.
Adam, are you amongst the people who think we could see this matchup again somewhere soon?
Well, Paul, great question. I had my annual instant bowl predictions and CFP predictions, and I have a rematch in the national championship game, and I'm sure your listeners will love to know, because I'm never wrong, that I have Ohio State winning that rematch in a slightly higher scoring game. So, it's slightly insane to be picking those right when the matchups come out, but I don't think anyone would be surprised if we see the Buckeyes and the Hoosiers in South Florida, about a couple months or like 6 weeks from now.
So who do you got Ohio State playing in the quarterfinals and the semifinals then?
Oh, you're testing me now. So, okay. So
A&M?
the Buckeyes, I have them playing Miami.
Okay.
And I have Miami over A&M. And then, I went all chalk for the semi. So I have a Ohio State-Georgia matchup at the Fiesta Bowl, which will just be incredible. With the way those two teams are loaded with NFL caliber players. So I think, close games in both, but we'll see if the Buckeyes can recapture their playoff magic from last year.
Adam, what are your thoughts on the field, and where do you find fault in the field?
Well, overall, the field is what it is. I mean, the rules are the rules, and you're going to have a group of five team in there. Obviously, it's surprising to have a second group of five team in James Madison getting in because of the ACC situation. It's difficult because head-to-head should matter, and I think Miami, should be in the field. You look at Alabama, and they feel to me, guys, much more like a deserving versus best. Alabama played a really tough SEC schedule against a lot of ranked opponents, at least at the time that they played, and they won a lot of those games. Do they look like one of the 12 best teams in college football right now? Absolutely not. So at the end of the day, I'm not surprised they made it in. I always joke that the committee doesn't love anything or anyone as much as it loves Alabama, and that's been the case throughout the history of the college football playoff. So not surprised that they got in, but it's a bummer that Notre Dame is not in this thing, because I think Notre Dame had a chance to make a run and possibly win the whole thing.
How do you like Oregon versus Texas Tech? Because that looks like that's going to be the matchup.
Yeah, it's funny, guys. I don't think I wrote this in the piece today. I don't think any two programs get more flack for the amount that they spend on their rosters than Oregon and Texas Tech, as if all these blue bloods don't spend anything. But it's like, you newcomers, you guys go overboard with the spending. But, Phil Knight has obviously transformed the Oregon program. And then here recently, Cody Campbell has done the same thing at Texas Tech. And these are two really strong teams. Texas Tech's defense has been just outstanding with Jacob Rodriguez and David Bailey and some of the other transfers they have in the front seven. Oregon's also very talented on that side of the ball. I would give Oregon the edge at quarterback. I just think Dante Moore is a potential first-round draft pick when he chooses to come out, and I think it'll probably not be until after the 2026 season. But Texas Tech has been great on defense, so I actually have Tech winning that one, but wouldn't be surprised if the Ducks get past James Madison and actually make a run. They're going to be super motivated, guys, just because of how quickly they exited last year's playoff.
How do you feel the future of the non-playoff bowls hangs in a balance right now, Adam?
Well, I'll just share this with you, and it obviously has some additional weight given what happened yesterday with Notre Dame. I was at Notre Dame on Friday doing some reporting for a story that won't see the light of day now until the spring. But I could sense the tension, being with those coaches in particular, that, they were all on pins and needles. Are we going to make it or not? And if we don't, it's going to really sting, because all this work we did, 10-game winning streak, all 10 games by wins by double digits. So I'm not going to forgive what they did. I always want to see teams play and not do what they did. But I think you could start to see a little bit more of that for teams that are right on the line of making the playoff or not. And I still think the bowl experience can be really a good one, and one final ride with your teammates and your coaches. But there's also so much flux in the sport with transfers and coaching changes. It's even impacting the college football playoff this year more than it ever has. that, I can see the argument for moving the bowls to the start of the season as opposed to the end, because at least they'll be played with some real meaning on the line. And it just feels like those other games get devalued every season.
Well, it's all we've ever known, right, is having bowls. It was an honor to get to a bowl, to be one of the teams selected. It's the way we've looked at it, forever, and now it's starting to change. So we got a 12-team playoff. How soon before 16 or maybe a 24-team playoff to help settle some of these arguments? And I still know that whoever's left out is still going to complain at the end of the day, but do they expand this and have some of these bowls come in or have some more on campus? Or, how is that? What do you think the future is of this playoff format?
Right. Well, I think it will expand, and all playoff formats expand. It's just a matter of when. You do wonder what the impact of Notre Dame not making it, and then obviously their tiff with the ACC that went very public today, how that impacts any discussions. But even Pete Bavacqua, the athletic director, told Dan Patrick that he doesn't expect there to be an immediate change to 16, and unless the Big Ten and SEC can align on the model, which has been very different from the Big Ten side and the SEC side. I think this thing is going to remain at 12, at least in 2026.
How about going NCAA tournament, just have a play-in game? Have Miami and Notre Dame play this weekend to get in.
That'd be fun. Yeah, right. I know Vanderbilt was trying to schedule a game last week, like in Alaska or Hawaii or something. And that would be a lot of fun, if we could see a play-in game. But, football is such a harder sport to coordinate. And there's always going to be unhappy teams. If Miami didn't get in, hey, feel free to beat Louisville. Feel free to beat SMU when you have the game essentially won. Notre Dame didn't get in, and I love Marcus Freeman and what he's done there. He hasn't been a very good coach in August and September. He just hasn't. He's lost too many games early in the season. And I've always said when you're Notre Dame and you lose that second game in the 12-team format, or even when you lose the first game in the 14 format, you're really leaving it up to chance. How you do, how your opponents do, how the other conferences do. You no longer have control of your path to the playoff when you lose that second game. And unfortunately for Notre Dame, that second loss, way back in mid-September, knocked them out of the playoff.
Do you foresee Notre Dame always being independent? I certainly know that the Big Ten would like to have Notre Dame in the conference and
others.
Make it the Big 20, so to speak, add two more. But what do you think their future is with this non-conference, or do you think some of these conferences, are going to end up being a super conference where there's like 64 teams and it's just all one big, happy family?
No, I think Notre Dame, they made it very clear that independence is central to who they are. And even though it didn't work out for them this year in football, you look at last year. I mean, they were able to lose a game to Northern Illinois and still make the playoff, and as an independent. So, even though it didn't work out, with this year's team, you just have to look at last year and the fact that they made the 4-team playoff a number of times as an independent. So I think it's going to be a real reluctant move if it ever happens. This is not what they want to do. They look at independence as part of the university's identity, just like every other tenet of that particular university. So that's who Notre Dame is, and they don't want to change it. But certainly it's an ongoing discussion if they end up getting left out multiple years potentially. But I don't think they will. I think Notre Dame is going to be a team, especially if Marcus Freeman is there, that is going to be in the playoff more often than not.
Adam Rittenberg, ESPN. Adam, we always appreciate your time and your insight. We look forward to reading your game story on ESPN this spring, okay?
Okay, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Adam. Right. Okay. Adam Rittenberg from ESPN.com. Up next, we will hear some comments from Ohio State coach Ryan Day as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
This is Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hello, I'm Ross Bjork, Senior Vice President and Eugene Smith Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletics Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donato's, Kroger, The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, Huntington, and 10 TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in our great state through the Buckeyes Care Initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag Buckeyes Care.
Hey, Ohio State fans, are you looking to score big with your home equity? Union Home Mortgage will help you unlock the value of your home and fund the promises you've made to yourself and your family. If you need to pay off debt, have home improvements, or whatever your family needs are, visit UHM.com and score financial freedom with Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender and MLS number 2229.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated by the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
The great thing about Atlas Butler is they do it all. Heating, cooling, plumbing. Look, I'm busy with work. I don't have time to wait around or deal with lots of people. One company, one call, and they do it all. Wonder if they'll clean out my inbox. Seriously, offer that service. Please.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Toyotathon is on. Get in the spirit of the season with a new Toyota. Now through January 5th, get 4.75 APR financing on remaining new 25 Corollas and Corolla hybrids. Excludes GR and Corolla Cross. Or lease a gas-powered 26 Corolla LE for $199 a month for 39 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Buckeye football lives here. The Fan. You're listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everyone, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Again, Ohio State falls in the Big Ten title game to Indiana 13-10 on Saturday. Time to hear some comments from Coach Day. They are presented by Kroger. Coach, on getting the number 2 seed in the CFP.
Well, I think, the committee recognized, the body of work that we had this year and found ourselves in the fourth quarter fighting it out and against a good team last night. And so, we're excited about where we are and, going down to Dallas again and playing against some a really good opponent, either A&M or Miami, two really good teams. So and then going from there, when you look at the teams that are in the playoffs, I mean, some really good teams out there. So it doesn't matter really if you're the 1, 2, 3, or 4. I mean, you got to play from here on out. That's just how it goes. And so when I look at where Indiana is, when I look at where Georgia is, when I look where Texas Tech is, I mean, there's great teams. So excited about that, and now we have to be at our best.
Coach mentioned 1, 2, 3, or 4. Last year, all 1, 2, 3, and 4 all had one thing in common. They all lost.
Right. They did. And, there are some people that thought they'd be better off falling to a 3 or a 4 seed when you look at the matchup. The possibility of playing Texas A&M in Arlington, Texas. But, the fact that they only dropped to number 2, I think, was a compliment to Ohio State.
And I think
to Indiana.
The way the game went, I think that they thought this would be a fun rematch, right? If both these teams can work it out again and get a chance to, go through their brackets. And I think that's why they kind of kept them separated. They didn't want to put Ohio State at 4. And obviously they could easily put them 3 and they would have been in a separate bracket. But I think part of it is, like he said there, the body of work, what they did all throughout the course of the season. The committee respected that after being number 1, really from day 1 all the way until the final game.
Coach Day on how he needs his team to bounce back.
Yeah, we're going to respond like men. We're not going to sit around and point fingers and feel sorry for ourselves. We lost. we're not at our best. Everybody, including myself, including the coaches, everybody. And so that's what you have to do. And then you got to address what the problems are and get them fixed. You know, when you lose a game like that, you can't just, feel sorry for yourself or, point fingers. You have to get the issues fixed. And so certainly the red zone was one of them, balance on offense. There's some things certainly that I know the guys on defense want to get addressed as well, and special teams. Now on defense, I think we held them to 13 points, which is the least that's been in the last 2 years. So there was a lot of good football being played there. Now that being said, the goal is to win. Remember we talked about that last year, like win the game. And, there were opportunities to win the game just across the board in all three phases. But we certainly were not at our best, and that's the bottom line. So we need to be moving forward with the teams we're going to play, because everybody that's in this playoff are really good teams, as we know. So, hopefully we're able to have a great month and prepare and then go play in this Cotton Bowl and be at our best.
Everybody wants to improve after a win, even more so after a loss?
Yes, no question, Skip. And they have a blueprint. All they have to do is look at what they did last year. Different when you consider they lost to Michigan and what that brings, but there's a blueprint.
As a 20-point favorite, is just chuckle as people try to create this narrative as the same as last year. No, it's
not the same.
Not.
No. This was a better team that they lost to than the one they lost to last year.
Much better.
No, and again, like when we played that Matt Patricia the first game defensively against Texas, no one knew what he's going to do, right? I mean, that was, Texas had experienced it. Now Indiana had 12 games, right? They studied that film. They had Purdue. They had a bye week. Then they had Purdue.
Almost like a bye week.
Right. Then they had Ohio State. So they had, 3 weeks of preparation, whereas Ohio State, they had all their focus on beating the team up north. And then, coming back from that was Indiana. I'm sure they did some stuff in the background, preparing for Indiana, film cut-ups and things like that, but they didn't start diving into it until the Michigan game was over. So Indiana had a little bit of time to prepare, which, hey, I'm not making any excuses. They beat us fair and square. But, we got to understand what they did. Now, we got film on them, how they attacked us, and, these coaches have to, kind of file that in the back of their minds. But, first and foremost is to take care of the winner of the Miami-Texas A&M game, and then, boom, the on and down the line before you can worry about who you're playing in the final game. You got to win the first one and the second one before you get the opportunity to do that.
We picked Jim's brain on this earlier, Coach Day, on what needs to improve from the offensive line.
Well, they have a good defensive front, and it's always a combination of things. We can do a better job of designing some plays to get out of the quarterback's hand a little bit faster. We were looking to push the ball down the field early in the game, and we broke down a little bit, but that's everybody involved. So we'll look to get better at it and make sure that we're in that situation again, that we're putting our guys in the best position to be successful, but at the same time, our guys got to do their job as well. So everyone's looking at it and making sure that we're doing our part to do a better job.
And that was one thing that he continued to bring up. I think a lot of people forget is give Indiana credit. Don't say Ohio State was terrible here. Give Indiana credit.
Well, and, Skip, what it really shows, and it's obvious because of the result of the game, but this was the best team that Ohio State played all year.
No doubt.
And there's probably not a better team in the country, at least based on some of what we've seen. As you look at it from a distance, now, anybody can play better on a specific game day, but this was a team that was, and here's the other thing that we haven't really talked about. And it's just about this team this year, meaning the Indiana team. That program had lost to Ohio State 30 times in a row. That's including the vacated game in 2010. You think that wasn't part of their motivation?
No doubt.
Highly motivated. And, give credit to, not only the team, but to Coach Cignetti for what he's been able to accomplish. 24-2, since he arrived on campus, it's been incredible. And, to hear Don Fisher talk about how much respect and how much he likes him. And, he wouldn't like him if he wasn't a good guy, right? I mean, Don's been around for a long time. The play-by-play guy on the radio network. He's been around Bobby Knight, right? He'll tell you his feelings. And to hear him talk glowingly about Kurt Cignetti and what he's done with the program and the excitement. There used to be in a basketball school. The problem is basketball, you get maybe 18,000 in the gym. Here this affects a lot more people. You get sold-out stadiums. You saw how it was there in Indianapolis, a short drive for all those Indiana fans to come enjoy that. And winning football seems like it's been a lot of fun for the Hoosiers. So, they got bigger and big goals now is, to compete for national championship.
All right, Coach Day, on the game plan for practice from now until the end of the year.
The goal is to be at maximum speed, effort, violence, really peaking at the end of the month here because, it's a significant layoff. So the first thing we want to do is the guys who have played a significant amount of football, let them get their legs underneath them. But also, as we get into next week, make sure that, they're keeping their edge. I think that's important because it's not like a bye week. I mean, this is a long layoff. And last year, we had the first round game and then we were right back into it and found ourselves in a rhythm. So that's something that, we're really looking at hard. Visited on it today with Mick and Quinn and making sure we're putting together the right plan. Put together a really good practice schedule around Christmas, travel down there, I believe on the 28th, and then keep a lot of the same things as we got closer to the game as we did last year. So to answer your question, want to get the guys healthy, want to get them rested physically, mentally, emotionally. There's a lot of guys hurt after that game. They were all pissed just like all of us. But, you got to wake up and move on and figure out how to get those things fixed, but then also physically. But, not so much that, we lose our edge. So that's the balance that we're looking to strike here in terms of the practice schedule and how we're putting that together.
Coach's comments presented by Kroger. Kroger Pickup is the easy way to get what you want right when you need it. Try Kroger Pickup today in the Kroger app or at Kroger.com. Up next, we will hit the red zone with longtime Ohio State reporter Tim May. That is next as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
More of Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
All righty, let's see what they have to say.
Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
American Electric Power is a proud sponsor of Buckeyes Care.
Hi, I'm Janelle Coleman with American Electric Power. At AEP, we're proud to support our communities, powering progress and creating opportunities every day. Our partnership with Buckeyes Care reflects a shared commitment to uplifting Central Ohio through service, connection, and care. Together, we are building a brighter future for everyone we serve.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Welcome back, everyone, into our season finale of Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. For every Buckeye touchdown scored this season, the Heartland Bank Community Foundation made a donation to the USO of Central and Southern Ohio, benefiting our active duty military personnel and their families. For more information or to support our troops, go to usocso.org and be the force behind the forces.
Buckeye Roundtable Red Zone.
Joined inside the red zone, longtime Ohio State reporter Tim May. Indiana defeats Ohio State 13-10. And Tim, you're a big boxing guy. It's similar to a heavyweight fight. We knew there would be a winner and a loser, obviously, on Saturday. What are the chances, in your opinion, that we see an Ali Frazier type of rematch between these two teams?
Personally, I think they're good because I do think these are the two best teams in the country. Of course, a playoff reveals all when you're going against, quote, light competition. But I kept telling everybody, back in the late spring and summer that Indiana was going to be better than it was a year ago, including the fact they had Fernando Mendoza at quarterback, and that proved to be the case. But that's a damn good football team, man, that played at high velocity on defense. And, it was almost a push offensively. I think y'all agree with that. I mean, Ohio State had its shots and couldn't take advantage of them. But both defenses played. It was a very disjointed game because of both defenses, the velocity at which they played. So I would love to see a rematch in this case.
You looked at the quarterbacks, Julian, Fernando. Obviously, it looked like Indiana had a little bit better of a game plan than what Ohio State did. Obviously, when you take in the 5 sacks that they gave up and really a lack of a consistent running game. If you get a round 2 against Indiana, what would you suggest to the coaching staff to do?
Scrap some of their game plan, but not all of it. I mean, Ohio State had more real chances at scoring touchdowns than Indiana did. Indiana hit a couple of 3 big-time third downs in a bold sense, much like Ohio State did, the pass to Jeremiah Smith at the end of the Notre Dame game last year. We saw that same play, except it was run against Ohio State the other night when it had a great chance of getting the ball back. But third downs really told the tale the other night, including the fact that, the Ohio State play before the missed field goal, they had an opportunity there, and Julian Sayin had a couple of 3 options there and couldn't get the ball to Bennett Christian. But the way Indiana scouted that team, I'm talking about Ohio State, the way the defense just jumped on that play, for example, and had almost all bases covered. It could have been a throwback to the middle of the field to Nate Roberts. It would have been a touchdown, but by then, time's running out. But yeah, I would stick to a lot of the knitting they did. I mean, I would get after them defensively the same way, except, maybe make a play or two on a couple of those big third down passes. But offensively, yeah, it was not what we expected to see, especially when you got down there inside the 10-yard line twice and came up with no points. That's bitter pill to take.
So, Tim, your feelings on the playoff field and on who's in and who's not in?
Here's the thing. They set the rules. Everybody knew the rules going in, except, you never know what the committee's thinking until it ties itself in a knot explaining why Notre Dame is in, Notre Dame is out, and Miami is in. When, in fact, I agree with what Nick Saban said. These are not the 12 best teams in FBS, in major college football. They're the 10 best teams plus James Madison and Tulane. And there's no other easier way to say that than that. But they won their way in. Everybody knew what the rules were going in. In my opinion, Alabama should not be in this field, and that would put Notre Dame in. And I know, y'all know I grew up an Alabama fan, but that's a long time ago, fellas. I'm 71. My baby brother, who's going to be 68, still cries when Alabama gets beat. But Alabama shouldn't be in this field. I don't know if y'all agree or not, but Notre Dame should be. I have more of a more of an argument about that than I do about Notre Dame and Miami. Miami beat Notre Dame heads up. I don't care how long ago it was. So that decided itself.
The new hires in the Big Ten, Fitzpatrick over at MSU, and then you got Campbell at PSU. What do you think of those two? Or Fitzgerald?
Fitzgerald, you mean? Yeah.
Fitzgerald, yeah.
Campbell's always been like the first guy you called when there was an opening in the Big Ten, right?
Right.
And he kept turning them down, and now he ends up at a blue blood. So I like Matt Campbell. I've gotten to interview him a few times. I just like the way he handles himself. Has he done anything super remarkable at Iowa State? No, but he's made them kind of a consistent winner. I think Pat Fitzgerald is a hell of a hire, but it coincides with that guy from Acrisure and his wife giving Michigan State $400 million, 270 or 80 million is supposed to go to the athletic department, right? I mean, that's called a double whammy. So I like that. I like the combo of that.
Tim May, Tim, we always appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us all season in the Red Zone once again this year, okay?
It's always been a pleasure and always will be.
Tim May, we always appreciate him coming on every week throughout the season. Coming up, hour number 2 of Buckeye Roundtable, our Encova Insurance Archie Griffin High School Player of the Week Award, our high school championship edition of our American Dairy Association Mideast Top High School Performances will hit the sidelines, and also our Insider's Access Patrick Murphy of Bucknuts 24/7 Sports. All that and more, hour number 2 of Buckeye Roundtable on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Paul Keels here, voice of the Ohio State Buckeyes. You have to check out the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. Get all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Buckeye sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off gear at the Ohio State Team Shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeye MVP membership upgrade for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
For over 37 years, Buckeye Nation has known Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse for serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks are a staple in Columbus, with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. And just like the Buckeyes, we strive for excellence and an experience like no other. Hyde Park is proud to introduce the newly added wine room at our downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining surrounds you, creating the ideal setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
Toyota Thona's on, and there's no better way to get in the spirit of the season than with a new Toyota, like the best-selling Toyota Camry. Now through January 5th, get 4.75 APR financing on remaining new 25 Camrys, or lease a new 26 Camry LE for $269 a month for 39 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details, or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Always and forever your Ohio State flagship station.
WBNS-FM HD1 Columbus.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Good evening, I'm Tyler Danberg. Ohio State owns the 2 seed in the college football playoff and will play either Miami or Texas A&M in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic on New Year's Eve. Winner to the Verbo Fiesta Bowl January 8th. NFL Browns rookie Shedeur Sanders will remain the starting quarterback the rest of the season, while center Ethan Posick will miss the remainder of the year after an Achilles tear. Former Buckeye Luke Whippler expected to replace him. ESPN's Adam Schefter reported Bengals All-Pro pass rusher Trey Hendrickson will undergo core muscle surgery this week. He's likely to miss the rest of the year. Additionally, Cincinnati waived wideout and former third-rounder Jermaine Burton after 2 seasons. Tonight, Eagles visit the Chargers at 8:15 on the Fan. College hoops, Ohio State women's basketball moved from 23rd to 21st in the AP poll. Buckeyes have won 5 straight games. NBA, Cavs are off tonight. NHL, Blue Jackets are idle as well. More Buckeye Roundtable continues right here on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day, means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes.
Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you.
Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Picture it, your holiday table, the family cooking together, the scent of golden brown bread, rosemary from roasted potatoes, and a salad so crisp it snaps, spiced cider in every glass, laughter around every plate. At Kroger, we know these moments matter, and we make it easier to bring them to life with quality that's affordable in every aisle. This season, don't just host, make every moment unforgettable. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King, is on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. It's Ohio State and either Texas A&M or Miami in the Cotton Bowl, December 31st. More on that coming up. But right now, it's time to talk some high school football.
It's time for the Encova Insurance High School Player Award on Buckeye Roundtable.
One of the highlights, again, all season long of the Buckeye Roundtable shows the presentation of the Encova Insurance Archie Griffin Athlete of the Week Award. During each roundtable show, Encova Insurance and the Ohio State Sports Network honor a high school athlete for their outstanding play and team leadership. And tonight's recipient is senior running back John Silvestro from Kirtland High School. Saturday, Silvestro had a monster day, 19 carries, 255 yards, 4 touchdowns. He also had a pass reception as Kirtland beat Hopewell Loudon 41-6. The Hornets are coached by Tiger Laverty. They finished the season a perfect 15-0 to win the Division VI state championship. Again, congratulations to John Silvestro from Kirtland High School, the recipient of this week's Encova Insurance Archie Griffin High School Athlete of the Week Award. Encova Insurance, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Time now for Buckeye Roundtable's American Dairy Association Mideast top performers and our whip around the state.
And while Kirtland wins D6, other great games, great performances in the other 6 divisions as far as state titles in Canton.
Yeah, here in Division I, Orange quarterback Levi Davis completed 10 of 18 passes for 177 yards and 2 touchdowns and ran 14 times for 93 yards and a score. Running back Lucas Fickle ran 31 times for 133 yards and a touchdown and caught a 15-yard touchdown pass in the 28-14 win.
They beat St. X.
Yes, they did. Division II, Avon over Cincinnati Anderson 37-20 as Blake Elder of Avon completed 12 of 18 for 216 yards, 4 touchdowns, and running back Keontae Smith ran 31 times for 180 yards and a score in their 37-20 win.
In Division III, Columbus Bishop Watterson 30, Toledo Central Catholic 0. Defensively, Bishop Watterson was led by Caden Jones with 9 tackles and Michael Boyle with 6 tackles and a pass breakup and 3 quarterback hits. The Eagles forced 4 turnovers in the shutout win.
Division IV, Cleveland Glenville over Shelby 45-7. Defensively, Glenville held Shelby to 27 total yards, the fewest in state championship game history, regardless of division, and posted 10 tackles for loss of yardage, including 5 sacks. Kaylon Bailey posted 5 total tackles, including 3 sacks in Glenville's 45-7 win.
Very impressive. Liberty Center here in Division 5, 35, Wheelersburg 3. Thomas Moeller ran 14 times for 95 yards and a touchdown. And Garrison Cruz ran 22 times for 84 yards and 2 scores for Liberty Center in their 35-3 victory.
Well, one result we knew one person in this room was thrilled about. Division 6, St. Henry beat Hillsdale 37-3. Quarterback Charlie Werling ran 19 times for 178 yards and 3 touchdowns and completed a massive 4 of 9 passing for 50 yards and a score in St. Henry's 37-3 win.
That's all they do. I mean, that's
you
all they
don't have to worry
needed.
about sacks. No. You just run the ball all the time.
What they say it was like back home after that victory?
It was crazy.
Or was everybody there in Canton?
They got back. They had the fire trucks lead them out of town on Friday, and then they had them back on Saturday, I'm sure, welcoming them back. And I'm sure there was some people getting together. And actually, one of the players, Jake Sweeterman's sister, was getting married that night. So
oh, boy.
He had to go home and put on the tux and go to the wedding. But
I just show up in uniform.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure he got a big hand when he walked in. But it was a neat feeling. And, I think about Tim Beckman, as a coach, he won a couple state championships. His son, Toby, won a state championship. And then his grandson, Tate, was on the state championship team. So it's 3 generations of state championships. So it's a good day for the Beckman family.
I know that the city of Canton and everybody up in Stark County does a wonderful job hosting these championships. However, the 2 teams from Cincinnati, Wheelersburg, that's a long way to go play, and didn't work out well for any of them.
No, now, the teams from Cincinnati have had success up there.
They have.
But it is. And, unfortunately, we wish that those games would rotate and occasionally come back here to Central Ohio. We know the issues that exist in doing that, and the folks up there in Northeast Ohio do a fantastic job.
And, Paul, you and I have called some games at Ohio Stadium when they were there, in Columbus, and that was always a lot of fun. It's not so fun when there's only about 5,000 people, though. I mean, it's just too big. But, every kid is a dream to play in Ohio Stadium. That would be fun. And, we shot around this idea a couple times. Wouldn't it be cool if they got the old Crew Stadium and the Ohio High School Athletic Association somehow would own that stadium and have all the state championships, right there. That's a perfect size.
Hey, we could host a thing at the Legion Hall on my street.
Put a track out there on the park, out there in the state fairgrounds. Put a track, have the track and field out there, and just make that the state championship home of all the state championships. That would be fun. Lacrosse, soccer, everything.
You talked about that dream. I can remember in high school, my senior year in high school, Moeller played Warren Harding at Ohio Stadium. And it was a great thrill for me to get tackled on the field at Ohio Stadium. I was not on the football team. We did a little tunnel for the team coming out of the locker room at halftime, and one of my buddies that was standing next to me tackled me as we were walking back up into the stands.
Just because.
Yes, just because. So I got tackled at Ohio Stadium.
Now we just worry about you falling down.
I know. Yes, really.
Our thanks to our affiliates all season long for their contributions to this segment. It's been wonderful all season long. Our top performers from around the state was presented by the American Dairy Association Mideast. A reminder from Ohio's dairy farmers, 8 ounces of delicious chocolate milk has 8 grams of protein with the power to fuel everyone, including Ohio State quarterback Tavian St. Clair. He's built like a Buckeye, and you can be too. Learn more at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/built-like-a-Buckeye. We will relive some of the moments from the conference championship games over the weekend. That is next after further review as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
You're listening to Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Buckeye fans, it's Paul Keels for Window Nation. Columbus, did you know you can get 2 free tickets to an upcoming Ohio State football game if you replace all the windows in your home with Window Nation? This month, they're offering 50% off all window styles, plus no payments for 2 whole years. That's right, no down payment, no monthly payments, and no interest until 2027. Get big savings, plus 1-day installation with Window Nation, a proud partner of Ohio State Athletics. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com today.
Ready? It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, getting ahead in this world is not as complicated as it might seem. Having the early guidance and counsel of your community banker, one who knows you and your family's story, can make a great deal of difference. Relationships matter. Bank on community banking. I'm Scott McComb, coming over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The great thing about Atlas Butler is they do it all. Heating, cooling, plumbing. Look, I'm busy with work. I don't have time to wait around or deal with lots of people. One company, one call, and they do it all. Wonder if they'll clean out my inbox. Seriously, offer that service. Please.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Buckeye fans expect a certain standard. That's true of the food they share on game day too, which is why Giant Eagle is always part of the game plan. With fresh, high-quality food and everyday savings, it's easy to tailgate like a champ or feed the ravenous fans at home. For long touchdown runs and effortless grocery runs, Giant Eagle is here. Giant Eagle, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Toyota Thon is on, and there's no better way to get in the spirit of the season than with a new Toyota. Now through January 5th, get 4.75 APR financing on any remaining new 25 RAV4 or RAV4 Hybrid. Or lease a new gas-powered RAV4 LE for $279 a month for 39 months with $39.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show, presented by Burger King, where you rule. With Jim Lachey and Paul Keels, I'm Skip Mossick. Be sure to join us Tuesday, December 30th from 6 to 8 p.m. for our Cotton Bowl preview show from outside of Dallas. It's presented by Roosters and by Burger King. Again, that's Tuesday, December 30th from 6 to 8 here on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Buckeye Roundtable.
Greatest play is under further review.
After further review.
Drops to a knee. The Owls rush the field, and the best story in college football this year gets the ending it deserves. From 2 wins to 10, Kennesaw State is the 2025 Conference USA champions.
That's an incredible story there. Nolan Alexander, Kennesaw State Radio, unbelievable turnaround for them as they win Conference USA, beating Jacksonville State 19-15.
You know, hats off to Jerry Mack, the head coach there, for what they did. And that game was played at Jacksonville State, so it was an impressive road win for the Owls.
Yeah, and Jacksonville State came back. They were down 10-0 heading into the fourth quarter. They put 15 points on the board in the fourth quarter to make it. Amari Odom, their quarterback, had 246 yards throwing the football, 26 of 32 for a TD.
To the American Championship, where Tulane hosted North Texas.
Nestamaker looking, up the middle, now checks down, it's off the fingertips and picked off. Chris Rogers down to the 20, to the 15, racing the end zone, touchdown, Tulane!
Corey Glore on Learfield, Tulane. They get it done. They beat North Texas 34-21. Tulane, welcome to the party.
And, you know, we talked about Jake Retzlaff, the young man that was forced to leave Brigham Young because of violating their life policy. And, you know, he gets to Tulane late and really ingratiates himself to the rest of the team. And, you know, they also do this with the distraction, if you want to call it that, of their head coach being hired away. But here's Tulane getting ready now for a rematch with Ole Miss.
Yeah, 7-0 at home. Tulane Green Wave against the Mean Green. I love that, North Texas Mean Green. Of course, Drew Mestamaker plays the quarterback for the Mean Green. He threw 2 touchdowns, but he also had 3 interceptions in that game.
To the Sun Belt, where James Matt North by Northwest took on Troy.
Back to throw is Kilcrease. Sire West hits it from behind. The ball's loose. Picked up by Drew Spinagatti to the 10, to the 5, to the house. Touchdown. Spin. Touchdown. James Madison! What a play by the defense. The strip sack. Spin picks it up, and Drew Spinagati. Touchdown, James Madison.
Was it James Mason or you and me? Did we just disagree? Dave Riggert, JMU Radio. James Madison beats Troy convincingly, 31-14.
You know, maybe one of the most entertaining moments was this was the AD from James Madison had a Sam Weish moment. He had to grab the microphone and get on their fans for throwing snowballs at Troy's punter. But, yeah, how about James Madison? You know, Kurt Signetti leaves, but their work continues on at a high level.
Did he say you're not from Cleveland?
No. He said you're not from Troy.
James Madison, running back Wayne Knight, 21 carries, 212 yards in that game. A TD, he had a long of 73, so they ran the ball very effectively against the Troy Trojans.
To the Mountain West, where Boise State hosted UNLV.
Broncos sitting at 2nd down and 2. The ball is on the UNLV 7. Capel's in motion. Madsen looking to throw. Madsen back in the end zone, wide open in the back corner of the end zone. Cam Bates, third catch, and the Broncos lead it 20-0.
Bob Baylor on Learfield. Boise takes care of UNLV 38-21.
You know, Madison had a great game. Madsen, their quarterback, but this looked like it was going to be a rout, but UNLV came back and made a game out of it late. Made it a little interesting, but Boise State, boy, they just have continued to be consistently, you know, they've had some bumps in the road, but when you think once they made the move to Division I, they really have been one of the more consistent programs in the entire country.
And UNLV, the Rebels, coached by Dan Mullen.
Yes.
And, you know, we thought he might be one of those names that might take one of those coaching jobs, but I think he likes it there. You know, it's going to be the new, Pac-12 or Pac-10 or
the Pac something.
The new Pac that's coming out, and UNLV will be a member of that conference, along with Boise State.
Boise, not the season they had a year ago, but still enough to win the Mountain West Bowl.
This is the
absolutely.
last one. Right?
Yeah, but at least in its current configuration.
The SEC is next, Georgia and Alabama.
Branch comes in motion near side on 3rd and goal. Gunner with time over the middle, throws in the end zone. Caught! Touchdown, Dylan Bell, right in the middle of the end zone.
Scott Howard on Learfield. Georgia beats Bama by 3 touchdowns, 28-7.
You know, this is an Alabama team. You understand why there was criticism of them getting in, because they've really been leaking oil. They did not look impressive in their win against Auburn the previous week. Really looked manhandled in this football game. Now, they had that impressive stretch in the middle of the season where they beat, I think it was 3 consecutive weeks where they beat ranked teams. But Georgia probably hasn't been or wasn't talked about enough as you went through the middle portion of the schedule.
Ty Simpson just had an okay game. 19 of 39, 212 yards. Alabama rushed 16 times for minus 3 yards.
Ooh.
Yeah, but they're in the playoffs.
Yeah, the people with those houndtooth coats are probably wondering what the devil's going on.
And I agree with the statement as far as, don't penalize a team for playing in the conference championship.
Agreed.
But at the same time, it should matter. It should count for something.
Well, in Alabama, really, they've not run the ball the way everybody expected them to. And that's where, everybody talks about eye test. Well, have you been eyeing what Alabama's done?
To the Big 12, another rematch as Texas Tech took on BYU.
4th down and 1. Morton from the shotgun, going to throw it. Right side, it's caught by Aiken. He stays in bounds, heads downfield to the 10, cuts back 5, touchdown Red Raiders. That will do it.
Brian Jensen on Learfield. Texas Tech rolls BYU 34-7.
Now, think about this, Skip. Texas Tech's one loss on the road to Arizona State by 1 point without their starting quarterback. Think about where this team could have been had it not been for that. But, boy, they've looked impressive, especially on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, and BYU had the freshman quarterback, Bear Bachmeier, and, he's only going to get better as he goes. Had 2 interceptions in that game, and that kind of cost them. But Texas Tech is, they're a team you got to look out for.
ACC championship next between Duke and Virginia. It went to overtime.
Barcade and Hazley out to the right. And it's the tailback Castle on 4th and goal in the first overtime. Here's Mitza, the snap, rolls to the right, wants to throw, waits, looking, back over the middle, he's got it! It's Hazley for the touchdown! Flag down back at the 19-yard line, but Jeremiah's in the end zone.
David Shoemate on Learfield. Duke made a few people happy, maybe upset a few more, but they beat Virginia in OT 27-20.
And this matchup occurred because of all the crazy tiebreakers in the ACC. But, when you think about, and remember it seemed like we were always seeing a stretch of overtime games for a while. When you don't see them for a while, you forget. And we noticed watching this one, the game ended on an interception. Yep. Just one of those ways, a defensive turnover in overtime you don't usually see. But Duke was the fly in everybody's ointment.
Now, if Virginia would have won that game, finished 11-2, would they had an opportunity?
I think they probably would have gotten in.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And Tony and Elliott's done a fantastic job.
Yep.
When you think of Duke and Indiana, both conference champions, you're thinking basketball.
For real.
It's amazing for them. MAC championship in Detroit between Western Michigan and Miami.
On second down, a nifty cut. There goes Buckley. First down and a lot more. Buckley off to the races, and the Broncos on the board again.
Mid-American Conference and ESPN with the credit. Western Michigan defeats Miami 23-13.
And think a year ago when Western Michigan came to Columbus and played Ohio State, they looked very punchless. But give Lance Taylor, their head coach, credit for getting them turned around to where they are now MAC champions.
Yeah, again, they just he's a good football coach, and Miami, really never had a shot in that game. They trailed pretty much the whole game. Did get a touchdown there in that fourth quarter, but the Broncos come up with a victory.
And let's point out, too, Miami was without that quarterback, Daquan Finn. Now, they admit they were without him because of injury late in the season in some games, but he opted not to play anymore to get ready for a professional career.
All right, FCS playoffs, just because. Top-ranked North Dakota State hosted Illinois State. It came down to a 2-point conversion for the win.
Here's your ball game, folks. 1 minute to go. Birds going for 2. Ball right hash mark. Rittenhouse back to pass time. Press in the end zone. 2-point conversion for Illinois State. And the Birds have taken the lead 29-28 with 55 seconds to play. And the Birds are out in front of the number 1 team in the country, 29-28.
John Fitzgerald, Illinois State Radio. Huge upset here. They knock off number 1 North Dakota State 29-28.
Rittenhouse has 3 touchdown passes, and Daniel Sobkowitz 3 touchdown catches for an Illinois State team that at one time Jim Haycock, former defensive coordinator at Ohio State, was the head coach.
Brock Spake is their coach now.
Former Purdue linebacker.
And again, just a heck of a job there. Out of Normal, Illinois.
He's been the coach there for a while now.
Has been for a while. I was at a game where they played Iowa in one of the non-conference games where he was a head coach there. And
I'm surprised Purdue hasn't given him a good long look.
Yeah, well, they just got a new coach.
I know. Well, they've had a few changes since Brock Spack's been at Illinois State.
Both members of the Missouri Valley Conference, a very, very strong football conference as far as FCS goes. Number of teams very, very good, including Youngstown State had a heck of a year.
Yeah,
too.
But North Dakota State, South Dakota State, some of those in the Dakotas have been kind of one of the dominant some of the dominant programs for a while.
So Yale, who beat Youngstown State, went out to play Montana State, and they went down.
They went down. If it was a math test, we know who would win. But stop. This week, all eyes are on Baltimore Army Navy. I mean, do you like them having like center stage every year?
Absolutely. You know what would be great though, and we'll never see it happening, if they would play on their campus sites.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
not big enough.
It's a game that
would be cool.
I always enjoy watching all the pageantry that happens, before the game, halftime. The way they salute each other. And it's usually a good, clean, hard game, and a lot of running, a lot of rushing in that game, and that's the way we do this time. Yeah, it's a fast game.
13-10 again, Ohio State falls to Indiana Saturday in the Big Ten championship game. Up next, we will hear from some post-game comments from Indiana coach Curt Cignetti as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
This is Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at Safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite repair, Safelite replace.
Hey, Ohio State fans. Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
New creamy parm pizzas are now at Donato's. A decadent new sauce on 2 delicious new pizzas. Try the crave-worthy chicken veggie parm with roasted chicken, fresh veggies, and that rich creamy parm base. Or the savory bacon spinach parm, where smoky bacon meets fresh spinach for parm pizza perfection. Craving something different? Create your own creamy parm pizza today. Donato's. Gotta love more.
AgPro has been family owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. You're listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. The 2026 Buckeye Cruise for Cancer set sail on the Silver Sea Silver Ray, an intimate ship with an even better experience, all inclusive of beverages, shore excursions, taxes, and gratuities. Sailing from Fort Lauderdale to bucket list ports like Grand Turk, St. Martin, and St. Thomas with many former Buckeye greats. Call 614-792-6204 to book today.
This is the Elk and Elk Report on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Jim, we talked about the O-line earlier, gave up 5 sacks, couldn't convert on a critical 4th down at the 5. Biggest area of improvement to work on from that group between now and the Cotton Bowl is what?
I would think a little bit of everything. You know, you want to be a little bit crisper in the running game, make sure that they get their down blocks if they're pulling our guards, which we did a lot in that game. So we got to make sure we're good on our down blocks, backside cutoffs, get a little bit more movement at point of attack, and then obviously pass protection. It's something they got to clean up. And again, this is what, teams that we play in the future, they're going to study that Indiana tape and find out how they got pressure, and most of the pressure came over to that right side with Phillip Daniels and Tego Shabola. We did see Gabe Van Sickle, get some opportunities in that second or third quarter, and then pretty much the rest of the ball game. So we'll find out if that's going to be a correction that they want to put in there, another guy, another body. We did see Josh Padilla, for most of the year, and then he hurt his shoulder and has been out the last couple games, though he was dressed and went through, and he's listed as a backup center in that last week game. But it's something that has been there. They've had some issues at that right guard spot. On the right side, that's where teams seem that they want to attack. So Ohio State's going to have to find ways to strengthen that before they get into the playoffs and start their games in a little over 3 weeks.
Our report was presented by the Injury Lawyers at Elk and Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO.
For Buckeye Roundtables from the Sidelines Report on the Ohio State Sports Network.
13-10, Indiana over Ohio State on Saturday. We get a chance to hear some of the post-game comments from Hoosier coach Curt Cignetti.
Yeah, great win, gutty game, hard-fought physical football game. Wasn't perfect by either team. We found a way to survive it, made the plays when we had to. And, I thought once again, when the game was on the line, Fernando was throwing dimes, and Charlie Becker was showing up making big plays, and Surratt with a big touchdown. Our defense, just created a lot of issues. Ohio State did start to scratch our run game there in the second half and missed that field goal. Of course, we missed one too, so it's even. So it's a great win for us, obviously, our first Big Ten title. And now I got 3.5 weeks to kind of humble this team, get them ready for the playoffs.
Coach, your defense had 8 tackles for loss, 5 sacks. What made them get after the quarterback? What made you guys so successful on defense?
Well, I mean, that's been who we've been all year, and really since 2019, I'm not going to lie to you. And, we've always been high in TFLs and sacks, and so we got a great effort from our front guys, and, we're down up those blitzes, got the quarterback off rhythm, let him out of the pocket a few times, which we can't do. But all in all, I thought we played pretty well.
You've been in some really tight situations in the fourth quarter, and you've come through at Oregon, at Iowa, at Penn State. How did that help you prepare mentally for this kind of challenge here, because you had to come up with some big plays throughout the second half?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I think we probably all on the bench as that clock started to tick down into the fourth quarter and it was game on the line, probably at some point felt like, wow, we've been here and we've won, and they've never been here. And so I think there's no question about it. When you've been through something one time, you're a lot better the second time. It gives you a lot of belief and confidence.
You said earlier this week, Kurt, that you guys weren't at Ohio State's level in terms of recruiting yet, but you feel like you're closing that gap, and a win this weekend could go a long way toward closing that gap. What can the future be? What can a win like this do for the future of your program?
Well, I don't know. Time will tell. I mean, it's hard to speculate. I think it gives us a lot more. It was another step we needed to take as a program. It's a great win, obviously, and we're going to go in the playoffs as number 1 seed. And a lot of people probably thought that wasn't possible, but when you get the right people and you have a plan and they love one another and play for one another and they commit, anything's possible. And I think that's what you saw happen here.
Kurt, what was going through your mind when you saw your quarterback go down at the start of the game and he did not, seemed like he was going to get up, but he did, and obviously showed his toughness there, and which I'm sure he showed you guys throughout the season.
Well, I missed it. I saw I was looking at the coverage, and then somebody on the headset said, Fernando's down, and I saw him rolling around on the ground, and I was like, oh boy. And then when I saw the replay before I got out to him, it looked to me like he had got hit, not in the head, but maybe had the wind knocked out of him, and that's what he confirmed. So, but, he's a tough guy. He takes some shots, he extends plays, and, it's, can't say enough about the way he competes. He got the heart of a champion, and he played great tonight when we needed him.
Post-game comments from Hoosier coach Curt Cignetti. Paul, what was the biggest thing that impressed you the most from Indiana?
You know what? And this is in an overall sense, and even dates back into last year. Their player evaluation, the decisions they make on who to bring in. He had a lot of guys that followed him from James Madison, but you think about Mendoza. At one point, Fernando was number 5 on the depth chart at Cal at quarterback. But being able to see something in him and in others, to bring them in, and then also with a guy like Jamari Sharp, who's been there. He was there under Tom Allen's staff. So the way they've been able to mold all those people together, but evaluate the people that they brought in daily, the defensive end who was at Kent State, seeing something in him. Now, they'd recruited him at James Madison. That's maybe the most impressive thing about what they've done in these 2 years.
I think the depth of wide receiver, too. Remember, Omar Cooper got knocked out of that game early, didn't come back, so they had other guys that had to step up. E.J. Williams made plays. Obviously, Charlie Becker made plays. Elijah Surratt, Jonathan Brady. They all got an opportunity to step up, and that's tough. We knew, that experience when we lost a couple of our receivers for a couple of games. It changes what how you want to attack a team. And their top receiver, their leading receiver, was Cooper with 58 receptions, 11 TDs coming in that ball game. With him being out, other guys had to step up, and they had the depth and the guys that can go out there and get it done.
All right, up next on our tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show, our Insiders Access, Patrick Murphy. Bucknuts 24/7 Sports will join us as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
More of Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner.
The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
The 2026 Buckeye Cruise for Cancer sets sail on the Silver Sea Silver Ray. It's an intimate ship with an even better experience. It's all-inclusive of beverages, shore excursions, taxes, and gratuities. Sail to bucket list ports like the Grand Turk, St. Martin, and St. Thomas. With Buckeye greats including Ryan Day, Bobby Carpenter, A.J. Hawk, the Boren Brothers, Ezekiel Elliott, Ryan Shazier, and more. Sailing from Fort Lauderdale, February 17th through the 24th. Call 614-792-6204 to book today.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
'Tis the season to be hungry at Roosters. That's why for every $50 spent on Roosters gift cards, you'll receive a $10 Rooster Buck back in your stocking. May your holidays be filled with friends and family, love and laughter, and of course, Roosters Wings. Go to roosterswings.com today or drop by any Roosters location to purchase your $50 holiday gift cards and receive a $10 Rooster Buck in return. Happy holidays from all of us at Roosters. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Toyota-thon is on, and there's no better way to get in the spirit of the season than with a new Toyota. Like the family-size Highlander and the bigger, more powerful Grand Highlander. Now through January 5th, you can get 4.75 APR financing on any remaining new 25 Highlander or Grand Highlander, including hybrid models, with approved credit through TFS. Plus, you get Toyota Care 2 years, no-cost maintenance. For complete details, go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into our season finale of Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Saturday, Ohio State limited Indiana to 3 of 4 scoring on trips inside the 20. This defensive summary is brought to you by Anduril, whose mission is to transform U.S. military capabilities through advanced technology. Anduril, an official sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye Roundtable Insiders.
Joined for a few minutes now, Patrick Murphy, Bucknuts 24/7 Sports. Patrick, thanks as always for hopping on. I'm trying to understand, Pat, why some are trying to compare a loss to Michigan a year ago where Ohio State was 20-point favorites at home to a 3-point loss in a 1-2 matchup in the Big Ten title game. Am I wrong in saying that other than the score, there's no comparison at all?
Well, I agree with you. I think, obviously the final game before you go into the college football playoff, I guess, is another way to compare it. Look, the difference is where Ohio State didn't finish in the red zone. They moved the ball, right? And that was something they really struggled with against Michigan. They threw the ball to their receivers. It wasn't like they completely changed the offense like we saw a year ago. So I agree. I think what you hope here is that they take that same kind of motivation they had after the Michigan, maybe not the angry team meetings and things like that, but that motivation, and use it as you go into the playoff and get ready to face Miami or Texas A&M. Now you have this loss sitting on, giving you a chip on the shoulder perhaps as you prepare for the playoff game. And I think that maybe could be the best comparison we have when we're all said and done.
Obviously we know about Brian Hartline, getting the job. It looked like today I saw where one of the assistant offensive line coaches, Marcus Johnson, is going to go to Arkansas. Have you heard any other rumblings of any other coaches that might be moving on from the Ohio State staff?
No, not at this point. I think, that there probably will be, especially you mentioned the kind of assistant position coaches. Those guys get opportunities. But I would not be surprised if the vast majority of this staff stays put. I think Ryan Day's established a pretty good culture, as you guys all know, with among this staff. And I think that, that they're hungry to continue to prove themselves. Could Brian Hartline maybe bring a guy or two with him, perhaps? I think that is something to keep an eye on. But in terms of, big names, so to speak, I think, Brian Day's done a good job of kind of making this a place that these guys want to be. Obviously, good opportunities, big opportunities will come, and you want that as a head coach to see those guys get opportunities like what Brian Hartline had. But I think we're still probably early given the playoff before we really start hearing about maybe some of the assistant to the assistants kind of making their moves.
Murph, we've been chewing on it all night, but kind of what's your thought on Indiana and the job that Curt Cignetti has done to get that program where it is?
Incredible. I mean, you just look back. I went to pull up their record from the last year under Tom Allen. They were 3-9.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize, it was brought up over the weekend. I know they talked about it on the broadcast leading into the game that this was before Curt Cignetti got there, the losingest program in college football history. And he's dug them out of that hole. And obviously beyond that, being the number one team in the country and Big Ten champion. Watching that game in person, and I know you guys were there, that was every bit of a number one, number two matchup. This wasn't just Indiana was fortunate that other teams had lost and they'd climbed up the rankings or they hadn't played anybody or anything like that. This is a real football program with real dudes, really good coaches, and they deserved, as much as it pains to hear from Buckeye fans, they deserve to win that game with the way they played. And maybe if something else goes right for the Buckeyes, they end up winning and Indiana loses a close one. But they were certainly in it, and I think that it's been remarkable. I don't know if I can think of another head coach that's turned a program like that around this quickly.
How impressed with you with Bo Jackson this year? Went over 1,000 yards, joined Robert Smith, Maurice Clarett, J.K. Dobbins, and Travion Henderson as the only, 5 guys now as true freshmen that have gone over 1,000. And, I don't know if we saw that early in the year, but boy, the way he finished and now over 1,000 has been awful impressive.
Yeah, those are some pretty good names that you listed there. I think not only the fact that he didn't begin the season as a starter or really even in the rotation at running back, but he was hurt most of his senior year. And in high school, he wasn't a full-time running back. He's playing different positions for his team up in Cleveland. So, he's learning this position more than even some of those guys you mentioned. He's been imperative for them to have success. I mean, think about what this rushing attack looks like if they don't have him. And maybe some other guys figure some things out, but he's been really good. I think the best thing is he's only going to get better, and he has 2 more years, not to look ahead beyond the postseason. But this is a guy who could do some pretty special things over the next this postseason and beyond.
Murph, have you had a chance to put some thoughts together about either Texas A&M or Miami?
Yeah, I think looking at Texas A&M, that defensive line is legitimate. And coming off of what Indiana did, I think, the offensive line has to be playing its best if that's the opponent. Miami, obviously, Carson Beck, when he's on his game, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Now, his inconsistency, I think, has been the problem, especially this year, and some of the turnovers. But I think both teams have some ability to present problems. But on the flip side, I think if you're Ohio State, you are pretty confident that, look, these are good teams, but they are teams that we can beat. I was just talking with a couple Buckeye friend of mine earlier that, who would you rather face? I think you probably would rather face Miami, given that you're going to be playing in Dallas. I know the committee said that they tried to give Ohio State an advantage by putting them in Dallas, but Texas A&M is only 3 hours away. So I think that just not having a home field advantage might be helpful there. But, yeah, I think both teams, they deserve to be in the playoff. I thought Miami deserved to be in even when they were being ranked outside. I know they have a couple losses that they'd like to have back, but there's definitely talent there when they play their best.
Julian saying the year he's had, going from a first-year starter against Texas to now being a Heisman finalist, just the growth that he's had from, game 1 to now to game 13 has been awful impressive. And again, he's got more eligibility here for Ohio State. The future, it looks bright for Julian Sayin.
Absolutely. And I think the thing that, it's hard to find things that are more impressive about Julian Sayin or really these Ohio State quarterbacks that we've seen in the last several years. But these last 2 games, you don't want to see him throw early interceptions, but the way he bounces back, and maybe I shouldn't be surprised with how poised he's been all season in every situation. I know they didn't have the final drive results that they wanted offensively on Saturday, but he's over 230 yards. He's 70-some percent in the completion percentage. So, Julian Sayin did his job, and he keeps doing it. Him and Caleb Downs, I think you anytime you run into Nick Saban, if you're Ryan Day, you thank him for retiring because he's given you 2 really good ones to help drive your program these last couple of years.
Speaking of Nick Saban, do you as far as the CFP, Patrick, do you like the top 12 or do you like the component of the automatic qualifier from the group of 5?
I think that it's good to have a group of 5 representative. I understand that means that a team that is deserving is going to be out. Does that mean you need to expand further? I don't know. I think, and I saw a 16-team bracket come out earlier that was interesting, but I would not want to go beyond that really if you're going to expand much, if at all. But I do think the group of 5 teams are playing football too, and I realize they don't play the same schedule as some of the Power 5 conferences or Power 6 conferences. But I also think you can make an argument that some of those conferences aren't created equal, right? And, we'll see what happens in terms of if they can upset these teams. But I do think that they deserve at least a seat at the table.
Patrick Murphy, Bucknuts 24/7 Sports. Pat, we always appreciate your time. Thanks for hopping on, okay?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Coming up, we'll wrap things up tonight with some chalk talk as the Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
You're listening to Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
All righty, let's see what they have to say.
Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
Hey, Buckeye fans. Are you thinking of consolidating your debt with a home equity loan? Union Home Mortgage wants you to know the average homeowner has over $200,000 of home equity available, and they can help you get access to your money quickly and easily. Go to UHM.com to get your cash estimate today. You'll score financial freedom with Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Union Home Mortgage Corp. is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Don't miss a minute of the Ohio State football postseason presented by CareSource, Kroger, and Spectrum. Celebrate the culmination of the 2025 season with all of Buckeye Nation and follow along on the official athletic site. From the opening postseason kickoff to the final whistle in Miami, we have you covered. It's the 2025 Ohio State football postseason presented by CareSource, Kroger, and Spectrum. Visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com/postseason central 2025 now for more information. Go Bucks!
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
American Electric Power is a proud sponsor of Buckeyes Care.
Hi, I'm Janelle Coleman with American Electric Power. At AEP, we're proud to support our communities, powering progress and creating opportunities every day. Our partnership with Buckeyes Care reflects a shared commitment to uplifting Central Ohio through service, connection, and care. Together, we are building a brighter future for everyone we serve.
Your Ohio State flagship station, The Fan. You're listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. We are proudly presented by Burger King. Visit your local BK restaurant to grab your $10 O-Fry O bundle that includes a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, 8-piece chicken nuggets, and a custom OSU crown. All for just $10 at your local Burger King.
Buckeye Roundtable, Chalk Talk.
All right, this might sound simple to some. Jim Lachey, X's and O's. Take us through a quarterback sneak. What's primary for it to be successful, and what's the primary cause if it's not successful?
Well, tight splits, number one, right? So the guard and center, zero, you're foot to foot, center, tackle, foot to foot, tight end, foot to foot. So everybody's in there tight. Usually you get in a 4-point stance, because you want to get as low as possible. The defensive linemen are usually in a 4-point stance, and it's kind of like the Eagles with the old tush push. You just fire off. And the guys that are outside wider are worried about cutoffs, where the guys inside are worried about getting movement. And you just, you need a yard. So you got to drive them back a little bit. And, of course, the defensive line is submarining, which means they're going to kind of come out low and try to take your knees out and try to get penetration. So there's, two thoughts. Do you go low and try to push the pile? Or do you do the old, you leap and you try to go over the top? Usually got a linebacker back there that's kind of, trying to read that. If they do try to pop it up, then he's going to try to meet you right there in the hole. But you got to get movement. You got to get tight splits. You got to all come off together, like in a wave. And, that's hard to do. I mean, but it's very effective if you have the right type of quarterback. You usually, you want your quarterback to be like in a 230 range, which Julian Sain's not. But, he's got the ability. He's skinny enough and, that he can kind of, find a little crease and a little hole.
He did make it. His knee went down. That's the only problem. You never really practice that full go, right? So, I mean, the only time you get the reps is when you really go in a game. And each time he does that, he's going to get a little bit better at it. So, that's just, it's one of those things. It's all effort. And it's everybody staying low. You'd like to have a center that can get some push. And I think Carson Hintzman's pretty good to have that. And, sometimes you'll lean left or lean right, like the A gap on the right or the A gap on the left, and try to find a hole there. And sometimes that's predetermined, by what the coaching staff. When you look at the defensive tackles, look who's inside to see, which way you can go. And then you got to have somebody pushing from behind, right? The old tush push. So, I see some pro teams kind of putting a bigger guy back there, like for instance. You watch the Houston Texans, Cade Stover's taking those snaps. C.J. Stroud, goes out wide, and they have Cade Stover. Push him in. Paul, we don't know who the opponent will be until a week from Saturday for Ohio State. What has impressed you the most from both Texas A&M and Miami?
When Jim was talking about quarterback going over the top, I was having flashbacks to Joe Kapp with the Minnesota Vikings. I think the fact that Joe Kapp, yes, the late Joe Kapp, who was in the original Mean Machine movie, Longest Yard. Anyway,
Mean Machine.
I think the fact, what Miami did week one against Notre Dame was very impressive, and that they've been able to do what they've done despite, as Murph talked about, the inconsistencies of Carson Beck at quarterback. And, when you think about Texas A&M, this is a program that really They survived a big scare against South Carolina, came back and won on their home field, and then had that emotional loss against Texas. This was a program, Texas A&M, that for most of the year was one of the top teams, not just because they were unbeaten, but with Marcel Reed, how they were playing all year.
All right. Ohio State's had some success in AT&T Stadium.
Yeah, they have.
I mean, some good mojo help, I guess.
Oh, certainly.
I mean, the only loss was everyone opted out against
The
Missouri.
Bowl. that was a tough one.
Buckeyes in the NFL to take us home, Jim.
Well, how about Cam Hayward continues to go? He had 5 tackles yesterday. Now, this is a career high for Jalen Tuimoloau. He had 6 tackles for the Colts, starting to play a little bit more as the year goes on. Denzel Burke stepped up again. He's been playing some good football for the Cardinals. 5 tackles in that game. Jonathan Cooper has 7.5 sacks for the season. That's tied for 15th in the NFL. That's a pretty good stat for Jonathan Cooper. He's the leading Buckeye sacker in the NFL right now. No one would have guessed that with the Bosa brothers, but of course, Nick's out with injury. Tommy Togiai with the Houston Texans, career high 10 tackles last night. That was an amazing effort by Tommy. He's going to get a nice contract here down the road. And every week, I got to throw him in. Jackson Smith and Jigba had 7 receptions, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's number 1 in the NFL with 1,428 yards. He's got 89 receptions on the season.
Real quick, Paul, finalists for the Heisman were announced.
Finalists: Julian Sayin, Fernando Mendoza, Jeremiah Love, and Diego Pavia.
All right, guys, great job all season long. It's been a lot of fun, as always. A lot of work, you know that, but a lot of fun coming out here.
A lot of work by you, and we thank you for it.
Good job, Skipper.
And Coach Cooper coming down throughout the season as well. Thanks to Jim Lachey and Paul Keels and Coach Cooper all season long. Thank you very much. Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King, has been brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance, the American Dairy Association Mideast, Window Nation, and by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. For our producer tonight, Colin Behringer, and for Jim Lachey and Paul Keels, I'm Skip Mossick. As always, thank you for listening all season long from Learfield. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.